Hello everyone, welcome to my channel English with Visali. Today we will discuss about BCA first sem General English SEP syllabus, Bangalore University. The Bet, Lesson The Bet, written by Anton Chekov, 10 marks question and answers. Previous video we discussed about summary of the Bet lesson. Now we will discuss about 10 marks question and answers. Let's go into the video. First question. Compare and contrast the characters of the banker and the liar in the bet. Introduction. Anton Chekov's short story The Bet presents two central characters, the banker and the liar, whose opposing views on life, wealth, and freedom set the foundation of the narrative. Through their contrast, Chekhov highlights the moral and philosophical questions surrounding human existence. The banker's character. The banker is portrayed as a wealthy, materialistic, and prideful man. He strongly believes that capital punishment is more human than life imprisonment, as he considers prolonged isolation a torture worse than death. His decision to make a reckless bet of 2 million rupees reflects his arrogance, overconfidence in wealth, and disregard for consequences. As the years pass and his financial condition weakens, the banker grows fearful. By the end, he is even ready to commit murder to avoid paying the money, revealing his moral weakness and greed. The liar's character. The liar, in contrast, is young, idealistic, and intellectual at the beginning of the story. He values life over death and argues that even in prison, life is worth living. His choice to accept the bet reflects his courage and desire to prove his philosophy. During the 15 years of confinement, he evolves from seeking pleasure in music, wine, and books to seeking higher knowledge through literature, religion, philosophy, and science. By the end, he rejects materialism entirely, showing his spiritual victory and moral strength. Comparison and contrast. The banker symbolizes materialism, greed, and weakness of human character, while the liar represents intellectual pursuit, sacrifice, and spiritual enlightenment. While the banker declines morally, the liar rises above human desires. Ultimately, the contrast highlights Chekhov's message: true wealth lies not in money but in wisdom and detachment. The conclusion is through the opposing characters of the banker and the liar, Chekhov conveys the futility of greed and the superiority of spiritual knowledge over material possessions. Here, key points: banker, materialistic, arrogant, greedy; lawyer, idealistic, intellectual, spiritual; banker declines morally; lawyer rises spiritually. Liar rejects money; banker clings to wealth. Theme: wisdom, wealth. Next question. What lessons do the banker and the liar learn in the bet? The Chekhov's The Bet is not only a story about a gamble but also a journey of transformation for both the banker and the lawyer. Each character learns a crucial lesson about life, freedom, and values. Lessons learned by the banker. The banker learns that wealth is fragile. At the time of the bet, he was wealthy and careless, but as years passed, his riches declined and he began fearing the loss of his fortune. His contemplation of murder to escape his promise exposes his moral downfall. However, when he reads the liar's note, he realizes the futility of wealth compared to wisdom. This shocks him into recognizing his own corruption and selfishness. The final lesson for the banker is that material wealth cannot bring peace, dignity, or moral strength. Lessons learned by the liar. The liar's imprisonment transforms him from a pleasure seeking youth into a spiritually awakened man. His studies of philosophy, science, and sacred texts lead him to the realization that worldly pleasures and riches are meaningless. He learns that true freedom lies in uh, renunciation, not in wealth. By rejecting the banker's money in the end, he proves that he has achieved moral and spiritual superiority. Both men learn contrasting lessons. The banker learns the dangers of greed and the emptiness of wealth, while the liar learns the higher value of knowledge and spiritual freedom. Chekhov suggests that life's true purpose lies beyond material possessions. Next question. Sorry, key points. Banker wealth is fragile, greed destroys morals, liar wisdom is superior, spiritual freedom matters. Story's lesson is greed leads to downfall, wisdom leads to victory. Third question. What did the prisoner do in the last 2 years of his confinement and what happened in the end? Introduction. The final years of the liar's confinement in the bed reveal his greatest transformation. His actions in the last phase show his rejection of materialism and his ultimate victory over worldly temptations. The last 2 years in confinement. In the earlier years, the liar read widely novels, languages, religion, science, and philosophy. In the last 2 years, he focused almost entirely on spiritual and sacred texts, such as the Gospels and religious works. He deeply reflected on the meaning of life, human vanity, and the fleeting nature of worldly pleasures. This shift showed that he was no longer seeking knowledge for entertainment but for spiritual enlightenment and inner peace. The ending of the story. As the end of the 15 years approached, the banker, now nearly ruined financially, decided to kill the liar to avoid paying him 2 million rupees. However, when he entered the liar's room, he found a letter. In the letter, the liar wrote that he rejected the banker's wealth and despised the world's material pleasures. He declared that wisdom, knowledge, and spirituality were far greater treasures than money. To prove this, he chose to leave the confinement 5 hours before the agreed time, forfeiting the bet and renouncing the reward. This act demonstrated his spiritual triumph and left the banker humiliated by his own greed. The conclusion is in the last 2 years, the liar prepared himself for renunciation and in the end, he freed himself from worldly desires. The story concludes with the liar as the moral victor and the banker as a symbol of material defeat. So, key points were last 2 years, read sacred text, sought spiritual growth. Banker planned murder, showed greed, liar wrote letter rejecting money, left 5 hours early, proved victory, banker ashamed of himself. Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe my channel.